Is it fine now or not? Sushil sir, just a minute, huh? Hall ticket, Sri, it will be released around 10-15 days before your examination. It will take 10-15 days after. Actually, it is.
Is it fine now
Yes,
or
now it is
not?
fine. Now it is fine, I guess. Sure. So basically, yes, Sushil sir, now it is fine. You can watch Aapka on YouTube or you can watch on application anywhere, right? So when it comes to I and IFS, this is one of the most important subject. Why it is very important? Because this is the first paper which we are going to face, and like something kind of that morale booster, right? If you score good, it will give you energy for the next two papers after which you are going to face in another week. These are PPB and AFM. And anyhow, we have to score good in this particular subject, right? So we have four modules when it comes to some important areas. So let's discuss the important areas first. Then we'll go through the module wise, and I'll show you like we will be going through each and every unit, and I'll show you some sort of questions also which get asked in past. So these are not the exact question, but we'll try to relate things after how they generally do the framings and all. So economic concept related to banking, the first so introduction of economy, sorry, first unit after when it comes to the, so here from here what we can expect aapka, that areas mostly the economic planning, the role and importance of primary, secondary, tertiary, quaternary and quinary, right? So one question most of the time you'll see based on this particular one, the Indian economic architecture is the name of the module. So one question you can expect around this particular one. Sunrise sector, that get asked almost every time. Sometimes they'll ask you the features of the sunrise sector, and sometimes it is around the what it is called key. They'll be asking question. They'll be giving you some examples, so you have to remember those. Priority sector in MSME, again, you can expect question around this. Globalization, especially that deglobalization. Why I'm putting more emphasis on deglobalization? The recent geopolitical issues आपका which is leading toward the deglobalization, protectionism of the economies. So that is something which is kind of a living topic. So you have to be a bit careful around this particular one. Economic reforms, where we have different committees and all, and the real sector reforms 1991, as well as the banking and financial sector reforms and their committees. They get asked one question around the international organization. Most of the time, the question is get asked based on the comparison between IMF and World Bank, or it can be the regional cooperations groups and others also. But mostly these two, the comparison or the feature of IMF, APCA and World Bank, or the SDF things and others, which generally get asked from this one. The climate change, which is the another one. Module B, which is economy. This is something like if you are starting afresh, अभी जो लोग just अभी start करें, या those who just starting their preparation, so I'll at least recommend module B and module D. At least you have to go through these particular one once. So module B is bit conceptual. You have anyhow you have to walk around the concept part, then only you will be able to answer the question, right? So type of economies, market, command and mixed economy, one question most of the time around this. Demand curve and supply curve, the another question, like 2 to 3 marks question based on unit number 13 after demand and supply. And another one is theories of interest, so that get asked jointly. You'll see after 5 to 6 marks question based on these particular one. Money supply and inflation is the another topic. One question around the that M1, M2, M3, M4. Another question is around the, like last time it was, the question was based on causes of inflation. So that is the one. When it comes to classical theory of interest, Keynes, liquidity preference theory, interest rate आपका, so these are some important areas. Hicks and Haitians आपका synthesis, IS and LM curve, very important one. Then we have business cycle, 1 marks question, very easy to cover. Monetary policy, fiscal policy, deficit and FRP. These are some another subtopic which are bit important from this particular unit itself, right? When it comes to module C, this is something which can be driven through the practice only, right? If you are even like अभी तक बिल्कुल touch भी नहीं किया, तो this is something which you can driven through the your practice portion. You can go for the unit wise practice and all. Some important area which get repeated most of the time, like local area banks or JLGs or RRBs. Then we have microfinance and NBFCs. One of the most important topic, two back-to-back topic from this particular one. NAFED is another important one. Grameen Bank model, JLG. Regulatory framework for your microfinance, fair practices, NBFC, regulation of NBFC, scale-based regulation, insurance. Like here, from here, when it comes to insurance wala unit, so reinsurance as well as Insurance Act 1938. Mostly you'll see the question based on Module D, insurance product, and from there you'll see question around the principles of आपका insurance, right? From here, e-insurance and reinsurance and Insurance Act is bit important part, right? Now, when it comes to Module D, this become आपका kind of one of the most important. Reason being, we have around 17 units which are generally part of this. So 17 into 2, like at least 30 to 35 marks question based on this particular module. And the important areas, let's go through this. We have BRDS. Apart from this, tri-party. When it comes to FIMMDA, this get asked previous year also. Retail Director Scheme. We have the other areas like SBA application, primary, secondary market and all. ARR, which get asked earlier also. Okay, next one we have another SRO, Foreign Exchange Dealer Association of India. Interconnectedness of financial market, merchant banking versus commercial banking last year also. Licensing requirement for merchant banking and SEBI regulation. Apart from this, we have areas like financial product. So here we have the new derivative product. Okay? So like mostly you'll see derivative based question, at least 2 to 3 marks. And most of the time the question is around CDS or आपका interest rate derivatives and others which get regulated by RBI, right? These are kind of one of the most emerging areas आपका. So and OTC versus exchange traded derivative, another one. Options which get asked many times, right? So these are the areas. Trades platform is again very important one. Venture capital, that exit route आपका. Most of the time we have experience or the phases of your venture capital. Leasing and hire purchase, the distinction between these two. Process of credit rating symbols, CRA versus आपका CICs, the another important part. Mutual fund NAV calculation or the areas related to your the different type of mutual fund. Last year there was a question. I have included that question. See, there was multiple आपका person having different type of mutual funds. Then they ask you which is something आपका right related to those. Classification of insurance, fundamental principle, reads आपका taxation in other areas. So this is something, all these are generally part of your curriculum. Now we will be going through all the 45 units which are part of your IE and IFS one by one, and we will be practicing a set of question also, right? So let's start the discussion with module A, and if you guys having any doubt, any queries, so you can ask. So from tomorrow onwards I'll be starting the not tomorrow we'll be doing AFM session PYQ at 11 a.m. From day after tomorrow, Monday onwards, I'll be having up a 2 hour session around IE and IFS. So this is something like what I want, ki just feel comfortable with this particular subject. Just we need to know what are the important areas and how to tap those particular. This is the motive of this particular session. So within limited time duration, we can cover the maximum areas, right? So if you are new, so what I can suggest you, now there is no time for going for this. You can go for this. Niti Aayog, आपका you can study the Niti Aayog part. You can avoid the that 5-year plans and others. Priority sectors, MSME is important. Definition, especially the new definition of MSME. Infrastructure, very small one. Globalization, deglobalization part will be the important one. Reforms, it will come thrice in this particular subject itself. So you have to have go through around this particular one. FDI, different type of FDI that get asked every time. Differences between FDI and FIs and the basis. You do not have to go through the last आपका foreign trade policy 1520 or the recent one 2023. But like once I'll be conducting one current affairs session also. covering the budget and economic survey. So we will be discussing those areas. Then international organization, IMF and World Bank are must, SDGs, and issue facing Indian economy, right? The first unit, as I said, this is kind of an introduction. Even if you ignore this particular part, that will still work. One question which we have experienced in most of the time, that is around the Indian economy, the World Bank definition. So what will be your correct answer? Now quickly, your turn, guys. So everyone. So India fall under which आपका lower middle income group category as per the World Bank classification? True है. India is third largest economy as per your PPP, purchasing power parity. When it comes to GDP, last year we shifted to the fourth largest economy, right? Then when it comes to India has high per capita income compared to the other developing nations and all, that is also incorrect. We have low per capita income. So incorrect statement means 2 and 3 means option B will be right answer for this particular one. You have to find out the incorrect statement out of this. Second unit, आपका priority sector. Sector of Indian economy. This is something for 2 marks. Every time you'll see the question around this. The first one is this question, आपका one question for sure around the primary, secondary, tertiary. Like one question will be the statement based, which of the following statement is most accurate or inaccurate, or they'll be giving you some business transaction to find out the different areas, or आपका like the differences between quaternary and quinary, which are the subsectors under your service sector, right? So difference between the different sectors, their contribution. Then another important subtopic is आपका sunrise sector of the economy, organized and unorganized sector, right? So three topic which I'll recommend from this one. One is this. Anyhow, you have to build a strong command around these particular one, and last two subtopic, right? Let's practice one question. So sunrise sector, because in last 3 examination it get asked back to back, and I hope everyone is comfortable with this one. So when it comes to sunrise sector, this is something like these are the most emerging sectors आपका, ठीक है, and which is something ki we can expect rapid growth in other areas in this area, right? So sunrise sectors, when it comes to this, sunrise sector is characterized by high growth, innovation, and strong, investor interest. These are the most emerging sectors of the economy. Sectors such as green energy, fintech, pharmaceutical are example of sunrise sector. Retail and infrastructure also can be defined under this particular one. It is mentioned cannot, they can be. Sunrise sectors typically experience low competition, they experience high competition. This is also wrong. The fifth one is the sector play a crucial role in job creation. Like in recent, edtech has also become the one of the sunrise sector because it is creating it has a huge content creation in other areas that generally become kind of one of the favorite area for the youth, right? So 1 to 5 means option A will be right answer for this particular one. So statement 3 and statement 4 were right, wrong. Retail and infrastructure, which are also part of this sunrise sector, experience high competition and risk. If that idea will work, this is kind of in startup things. If that idea will work, obviously it will generate lots of profit in others, right? Next one we have economic planning in India. So this is something, now when it comes to this unit, now this unit will confuse you by two ways. One is like one question always we have experience around the आपका revolution in agriculture sector. So that is one area which you can tap. I'll not suggest any sort of rectification just before entering in your examination hall. Just go through that particular list. And this is आपका the way. Any sort of rectification is not suggested. There are many 5-year plan आपका, all the 12 5-year plan they have given. So I'll suggest to ignore those particular one at this particular point. Reason being that the time which you will invest in those particular area, within that time you can cover one entire unit, and the probability is low, so there is no point for going those one, right? So economic, and we have rarely experienced question around the core feature of 5-year plan, okay? Like the growth rate or the scheme which generally come during that particular period and all. So what you can do, the time frame or the key objective of that particular 5-year plan, and the suggested model in others, that is something what you can read out from that area. So type of planning definition, objective of planning is आपका one area which I'll suggest, ठीक है, which I'll suggest from this area. History आपका, the basic history that can be asked. Then आपका नीति आयोग is one of the most important area, and the another most important subtopic from this one is financial resources for economic plan, right? We have three core resources, आपका domestic, आपका deficit financing, and foreign. They get asked many times, even in your last time also. So May 2025 they asked question around this particular one also, right? Chalo, so let's go through this. आपका resources of economic planning in India, quickly go through this particular one, guys, and do let me know. So first, domestic, when it comes to the domestic budgetary sources are the most significant contribution that taxes, आपका taxes and non-taxes income is kind of the major source. Deficit financing occur when expenditure exceed revenue. Yes, government can finance its deficit by borrowing from RBI, आपका commercial bank, and issuing bonds and others through RBI. Foreign, this is third largest source आपका, or second largest source. World Bank provide funds to India primarily through IBRD and IDS. Yes. So 1, 2, 3, 5. 1, 2, 3, 5 means option A only will be right answer for this particular. Very good, guys. Awesome. Chalo. Next one. Next one, we have priority sector lending. So two areas. One is priority sector, the new norms. New norms specifically, which become effective from April 2025. That small finance bank wala, so small finance bank update, as well as that UCBs आपका, so these two updates आपका which can be asked or in your upcoming examination. Rest, this topic is more important, or like when you see the content part also. In IFS they have given just introduction or the basic classification or the allotment itself. But when it comes to PPB, that sector-wise limit and other things also, which are very, very important, right? MSME, the new definition or any other announcement around this. So definition of MSME, definition of priority sector, list आपका. Many times we have experienced the question around the list also, and scheme which are generally part of this one. So these are some areas which you have to cover from this particular one. Like आपका priority sector in MSME, and you have to find out one correct statement. So priority sector lending was first introduced in 1972 when Morarji Desai mentioned this particular one, need for the fair credit distribution. Is this true? No. This is it was 1967, what I can recall this one. So 1967, 1972 when RBI framed the guidelines and mandated with the bank itself, right? So that should be the this should be the wrong answer, no, wrong statement. MSME, they contribute 40% of total India's export. MSME sectors rank second only after the agriculture in term of employment generation. PSL आपका focus on sectors that vast population, impact vast population, agriculture, small scale, weaker section, and others. These all are the part of the PSL sector. Banking Amendment Law 1967 introduced measure of financial liberalization to reduce the banking regulation. आपका, ठीक है? It was around the 1967 amendments were around the control over bank, not related to the liberalization. That happened with the 1992 Narasimham committee itself, right? So means आपका, this is also wrong, means 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4 means आपका option C will be right answer. Abhishek sir only mark the correct answer, I guess. Rest all went wrong here. So yes, option C will be correct answer for this particular one. The first statement was incorrect. 1967, it was the period, priority sector, when it was first got introduced this terminology itself. Banking Law Amendment 67 introduced social control over the आपका bank, not आपका financial liberalization and all, right? Unit number 5, So when it comes to unit number 5, infrastructure, including social infrastructure, in last examination, they asked question around the hard infrastructure and soft infrastructure. That was the question. And it also include aapka areas like the when it comes to social infrastructure, it lead to health and education in other areas also. So the new education policy, one important aspect, आपका national health mission, that is another important area from this particular topic. So infrastructure, including social infrastructure, we have energy, power, and all these ones. There are some schemes and all. You can expect आपका current affairs, the current schemes related to these particular areas. Health, education, family welfare, development of health infrastructure and others, which are generally part of this particular one, right? So let's go through this one. This was आपका the last year again. Differences between hard versus soft infrastructure. So hard is basically the bridge, canal, dam, आपका the infrastructure related things. Basically the core infrastructure where we are building these particular one. When it comes to soft infrastructure, social, healthcare, education, and other areas, which generally comes under this one. So option A only should be right answer for this particular one, right? आपका civil aviation is important in the current time. This like something what we are like the recent era. They hardly ask current affairs. You do not get scared around the like in your bank examination the current affairs they ask, that is differently. This is differently. So here they have limited scope. The scope related to schemes or any update around those particular schemes or any core data related updates in that we have to tap. So you do not have to go for all the kind of current affairs things and all, right? Chalo. Now next question, guys. One more question. And why these people are not answering, those who are watching on YouTube. So you can also answer, guys. So what will be your correct answer for this one? Which of the following statement about the infrastructure and its role in economic development investment in India are correct? The first statement, hard infrastructure include both physical like road and thus school and hospital, they comes under the आपका soft infrastructure. Second, National Investment and Infrastructure Fund (NIIF) was established to facilitate infrastructure financing through international aid. आपका no, this is आपका to mobilize. This was regarding to mobilize the private capital or that private public partnership kind of things, not international aid. Water, आपका Prevention and Control Act 1974 empower Pollution Control Board to regulate water, wastewater discharge and implement the population control measure. Public-private partnership has emerged as a key model to leverage the private investment in infrastructure sector, previously dominated by the public funding. Yes, so 2, 3 and 4 means option B should be right answer for this particular one, correct? Chalo, let's move forward, guys. Unit number 6. Now this become bit prominent here. So see, they do not have any scope to ask current affairs around this particular one. Like they are not going to ask the recent areas and all. They'll be framing the question around आपका one of the most important area, that is protectionism. The threaten to re-emergence of protectionism, because nowadays every country is putting some sort of efforts toward this particular area, that is also known as deglobalization, right? So this is something another one important area. So the globalization impact advisory, impact on India, last year question was based around this, आपका globalization and impact on India. Fair globalization and need, this again very important one. Globalization in reverse gear means deglobalization and protectionism is kind of one of the most important area for your upcoming areas, right? So globalization, and you have to find out the correct statement. So globalization lead to a increase in interconnectedness among the economies, culture and people, which is आपका correct statement. Second one, it promote economic growth. Sorry, just a minute, I'll hide myself. So it promote economic growth through the cross-border trade, investment in technology. Yes. Globalization has no impact on social justice. It does. Trade initiative help by reducing supply side and trade related barriers. आपका Developing countries can benefit from globalization by catching up with developed economies through industrial and diversification. Yes. So 1245 means option B will be right answer for this one. So this is based on the previous one. Now, when it comes to deglobalization, this is something which is expected. So I'll suggest after everyone, please go through this particular content once or twice. So that will help you to answer the, mostly it will be after statement based question, so you have to be a bit careful around this particular one, right? So deglobalization, acha, first answer this one. I'll wait for your answer. So deglobalization and protectionism. So deglobalization refer to process of reducing tendency and integration among global economies as US or Russia or the other countries are doing right now. Protectionism aim to protect domestic industries by implementing tariff, import, quota and non-tariff barriers also. Yes, the live example is US. Protectionism policies always lead to increase in job across all industries. No, yes, we cannot say APA. It will always lead to increase of a job team. So this statement should be wrong. Event like आपका Brexit, US-China trade dispute, COVID-19, they generally shift economies toward the deglobalization. True है. WTO dispute settlement mechanism has played a strong role. Now, like when it comes to WTO, their role is kind of आपका nullify in past few years. So 1 to 4, no one is listening these particular economies nowadays. Take these particular institution. So option A will be right answer for this particular one. Right? Got it, guys? Next one. So one important area what I can suggest you to go through this. Economic reforms, this is something again very very important one. This topic na, it is like it will come thrice in your overall curriculum itself, right? So we have real sector reforms, mean that LPC. This is kind of the game changer for the Indian economy. Financial sector reforms. So apart from that RBI banking sector, there are some other sector reforms also, insurance, money market and others, derivative and all. That is bit important because this topic include all the financial areas and all. When it comes to module C and module D, again you will see banking sector reforms. So that is if you cover up a banking sector from that part and the other areas like insurance, pension or NAFID and other involvements, that will help you from this one. Integration with global economy, economic reforms in India. So these are the areas. So question is, so 100% time, the ratio is 100%. One question based on whether it is about Narasimham Committee 1 or आपका Narasimham Committee 2. So Narasimham Committee 1, that is known as banking sector reforms, and that review was 1998, that is Narasimham Committee 2. So like this is something now which get asked every time, and every time it is for आपका 2 marks, huh? Whether it is around 1 or it is around 2. So this is something आपका what we can tap, because this is one of the most important reforms in Indian economy itself, right? So the committee in banking sector, sorry. So the committee recommend the introduction of capital adequacy norms for bank. That is true. CAR at what percent? They recommended CAR at 8%, and later with committee 2, they increased it to 9%. The reform led to a establishment of DRT to improve the loan, quick loan recoveries and others. The committee suggested an increase in CRR and SLR. No, this was after decrease in CRR and SLR in phase manner. One of the key recommendation was the entry of the new private sector banks in India. Yes, that is आपका liberalization in policies and आपका privatization. The reform introduced a strong supervisory system to monitor banking operation. Yes. So 1245. 1245 means option B will be right answer for this particular one. One another question, like they have given all, there is one slide now, they have given all the banking related committees, right? So in May, they asked question around the weak bank. So they are even in the November one, it was related to your the insurance related committee. So most of the time you'll see one question around this particular one. So Verma committee, which was related to your weak bank areas and others, right? So now we have foreign trade policy. When you'll go for the book content, so what you'll see, there is lots of content around the foreign trade policy 15 and 20, and there is no point of studying that particular one. The current foreign trade policy is 2023. Earlier we used to come for 5 years, but now we have changed that particular structure. तो अभी की जो फॉरेन ट्रेड पॉलिसीज होती हैं दे आर लाइक कि आपका वी हैव क्रिएटेड 123 एंड अकॉर्डिंगली विल बी चेंजिंग इन दैट पर्टिकुलर वन. So now from this unit there are 2-3 topic. FDI, the type of FDI that get asked again every time. Last time how they asked, they give you आपका situation like आपका company XYZ company they invested in India in this form, so which type of FDI it will be. Then आपका there are 3 different companies who are investing in Indian economy and their approaches आपका, so that is something related to this. And the basic guidelines around the FDI and others, and even that I guess in November that insurance wala FDI update also get asked from the budget itself, right? So foreign trade policy investment in this, avoid this, avoid this. Challenges, this can be this is aapka one of the most important area. Development, again, importance of economic development as a dimension, so that is the area. This was this type of the framing was something like this. So 3 areas which were given in this particular one, and you have to find out which area belongs to which type of FDI. To build a fully new manufacturing plant outside Pune, recruit Indian staff and install its own production line from the scratch. So that is your greenfield aapka FDI. This is greenfield FDI. Acquire 75% stake in well-established Indian electronic company. So this is your aapka brownfield, where what we are doing, we are acquiring the existing company's stake, aapka majority stake or 100% stake, and then foreigners are doing that particular one. Enter into a strategic partnership with Indian company called Bharat Circuit Limited, where both companies will contribute aapka this one. So that is a case of joint venture, right? So 3 form of FDI. One is greenfield, another one is where the foreign companies starting from the scratch. Brownfield, when they are acquiring some Indian company, then they are running according to their business method. Joint ventures, after they are doing some sort of alliances with Indian companies, and then they jointly running that particular business itself, right? This is, sorry. So option A will be right answer for this particular one. So I hope you got this particular one, guys. Correct hai? Now one another question, this also get asked many times, the growth versus development, economic growth versus development, not in November but it was part of May. So growth versus development, when it comes to the economics, these two words seems aapka similar, but when it comes to growth, growth is basically it is quantitative in nature. Like let's say we talk about the economic growth, right? Economic growth is this GDP and other parameters we use. It is all about the output of the economy. When it comes to development, it is multi-dimensional. We are not talking only about the quantitative things. We are talking around the qualitative areas also. Like SDI, that Human Development Index, is one of the most famous method for this, where we are having life expectancy, education, and health parameters and others, which are the core of that particular one. So you have to be a bit careful around the growth and development. So economic growth, a narrower concept than the economic development. True. Economic development include improvement in literacy, healthcare, living standard, the overall. Economic growth is single dimensional, that is output only. When it comes to your development, that is multi-dimensional. These are the dimensions, the basis of that particular one. Indicator of economic development include SDI, aapka these, yes. Economic growth is more relevant in developed countries, while the in developing country, economic growth is more relevant for developed countries, while when it comes to the economic development is in the developing countries. Because see, in developed countries, they have already achieved those milestones like literacy, education, infrastructure, and everything. So numbers, the economic, like if you see the growth rate of our US economy, that is around 1.5%, or Japan, all these developed nations. So they have achieved those milestones. They are mostly investing around the innovation in other areas. Developing countries आपका they are working around these basic challenges, so that's why this is also correct. To 1 2 4 5 means option A should be right answer for this particular one. Correct है? Got it, guys? And why people are not answering? Sushil sir, acha, okay. Sushil sir shifted on YouTube, huh? Yes, chalo. So the next one we have international organization. The World Bank, IMF. They also have highlighted in your curriculum itself, right? So World Bank, आपका IMF. Now this WTO, na, actually it is losing the charm from last few years now, when even US also withdraw from this. And when it comes to the activities which we are having right now in the world economy or geopolitics things, which is something giving some sort of setback to this particular organization. So maybe they can ask one question around this World Bank IMF comparison, which get asked. IMF, that SDR thing is again important one, regional cooperation and other areas. This is something which is again a live topic, which is as per the current scenarios and all. So I'll recommend this particular topic also, huh? So this can be asked for 2-3 marks in your upcoming examination, right? So differences, the International Monetary Fund and World Bank. So World Bank and IMF, आपका the core differences between these two. What will be your correct answer? So the IMF primarily assists countries with short to medium term balance of payment support. True है. World Bank आपका long term, and that is mostly for the development project and other areas. The second one, IMF promote exchange rate and monetary stability. World Bank आपका economic development in poorer countries. IMF आपका financial resources comes mainly from quota subscription in the SDR. And when it comes to World Bank, they generally raise funds through आपका international market by issuing bonds and others. So this is also correct. So option 1, 2, 3 means option D will be right answer for this particular one. ठीक है? सुशील सर, जब से आपने आपका प्लेटफॉर्म से स्विच होके यूट्यूब पे गए तो आपके आंसर खराब हो रहे हैं, मुझे ऐसा लग रहा है. ठीक है, तो ये D will be right answer for this one. Only Abhishek sir mark correct answer. What happened to others, guys? How it will help you, right? All the statements were correct in that particular case. चलो कोई बात नहीं. Let's try with the next one. Climate change आपका, the impact of climate change. The impact of climate change. See, climate risk. There is one topic आपका that is called climate risk आपका. So climate risk is something कि we have two dimension of climate risk. One is, let's say there is a आपका flood or आपका drought and others. Due to that particular events, we are having some sort of losses. Another one is transition risk. Transition is something ki, like, let's say if we are going through the transition toward the net zero carbon emission or anything else due to the government policies or anything else, right? So it is something like, let's say if we have created an asset with some company who is manufacturing plastic or producing carbon and other things. So obviously they have to make some changes. If they won't be able to adopt those particular one, their financial health will come down, or eventually they'll be having some sort of losses if even they go for the replacement of machine and other thing also. So that is something after that transition risk, which is part of our banking things also, right? So from here, आपका climate change sustainable development goal number 13 basically when it comes to this is a goal number 13. And sometime we'll see the question around like when it comes to the SDGs na? So we have total 17 goal which are part of this one. Last year question was around the fundamentals only. MDGs, so last year question was around the fundamental in the aapka this November one only. MDGs which get replaced by SDGs. So that question was all around the areas. Goal number 13 and the total goal and others. So we have a 17 goal. 17 number is basically the partnership toward the attainment of the previous 16 goal and all, right? So climate change, sustainable development goal, core element of sustainable development, global issues, initiatives, CSR activities, right? Section 135 Companies Act, which mandate this particular one. So, so this is in any update, the report or the other areas which are generally part of this particular one. तो फर्स्ट वन ह्यूमन एक्टिविटीज पर्टिकुलरली आपका बर्निंग fossil fuel have been a primary cause for this since 1880s or 1800s. The another one, sustainable development goal focus urgent action around the upper climate change and its impact. It is global warming to 2%, 2 degrees Celsius. Scientists recommend cutting down 40% by 30 compared to 10. It was, the goal was 1.5 degrees Celsius, right? So this is wrong. So 1 and 2 means option A will be right. You forget this one also, huh? Not all guys. Everyone, aapka MDGs are Millennium Development Goal, right? Millennium Development Goal. MDGs were Millennium Development Goal, MDGs. They can like this is an initiative of United Nations. In 2000, United Nations come up with MDGs. There were 8 goals, right? In 2015 means 31st March 2015 was the end date of that MDGs. 1st April 2016 onwards, we have started with this आपका sorry 1st April 2015 to or this 31st March 30th is the time frame for this particular one, right? Next one, this question also get asked, India's GDP as per World Bank, what will be the impact of this climate change transition on India's GDP? So by what percent it will impact India's GDP? So as per the World Bank report, it is 2.8%. So these are some areas which are bit static. They get asked for half marks and other things, so you have to be a bit careful around these ones, right? Chalo, next one, issue facing Indian economy, jobless growth is one of the most important area from this. So we have and the poverty elevation scheme, or the new scheme which introduced in budget, the replacement of Manrega and others in some areas that become prominent. So poverty elevation, jobless growth, because Indian economy is currently facing this particular one. Okay? In last 10, let's say last 1 decade, the growth, average growth is supposed at 6.5%, and the employment growth is around 1.5% or something. So this is kind of a jobless growth, right? So this is employment, this is economic growth and all, right? GDP, what we can say. So rising inequalities, migration and excessive pressure on resources. This topic also get asked many times. Possible remedies are basically the government initiative, right? MPW आपका more due to AI. What is this? अच्छा, manpower more due to MPW. What is Pradeep sir? What is MPW? Can you help with this abbreviation? Like it is something आपका manpower or like something else. So jobless growth when it comes to अच्छा now okay sorry now it is आपका related हाँ जो AI is become one another reason. Even companies, the core IT companies, company like Oracle and others, the Oracle is the recent example, 30,000 layoff. Out of this, 12,000 are from India, right? So there are many such examples, आपका, which is if they can face the issue, the content creators also, the other part also, right? They are facing issues related to this. So jobless growth occur when economy grow, but employment level remain stagnant, grow at a slower pace. This is the core definition of this. Everyone is saying D, and what I can see, everyone is going wrong. Huh? One of the key reason for jobless growth in India is the dominance of knowledge intensive service over the labor intensive industries. This is also correct, right? Reform labor laws and promoting capital intensive industries are the best solution. No, reform labor laws will help, but this will not help. Again, if you are introducing more and more robot system and others, which is replacing humans like computers or AI and others, that will lead to increase the gap, right? It will not decrease. So this should be wrong. 1 and 2, A will be right answer for this one, right? Yes, very good, Silva Makhani sir, Susil sir, and Pradeep sir, everyone, guys. Right? Very good. Well done. So this is while labor laws is necessary, capital intensive industries further contribute to jobless growth than आपका solving it. Next one. Okay. So we have done with module A. So module A. So now Monday onwards, when I'll be starting आपका unit wise, what I'll try to like with every topic, every subtopic, we will be practicing with आपका 2 or 3 set of questions, ठीक है, so that we can make sure कि we are very well prepared. But this session is very very important one, especially those who recently joined any courses or those who recently started their preparation and all. So what I want कि I just want to give you a kind of a fair idea around where we need to work in the remaining days and all. Same thing which what we will be doing for the आपका AFM PPV RBWM also. 7:30 no, like we'll be doing at 7 o'clock, or if you guys allow we can do it at 6:30 also. I'll check आपका with them like what is the possibility and all, huh? But we have to do it early, at least 2 hours I want to give to that particular one. So in a particular session we can cover 2-3 units आपका, right? So the next one आपका module B, because we have to do the module wise revision also. Now module B, this is full of conceptual, okay? So this is something I'll never recommend anyone without going through the concept part. This is something anyhow you have to go through once the concept part, even if you are new. So you have to go through the concept part of this. You can ignore module A or module C, but this is something, or even module D also, but this is something आपका kind of must, especially some areas आपका the economics, macroeconomics and others, demand and supply and theories of interest. Total out of these two subjects, you can expect 5 to 6 marks question, and they will be full of application. Money supply and inflation, 2 question, 1 marks each, or 1 question for 2 marks, 1 question for 1 marks or half marks. Business cycle, half marks to 1 marks. Monetary policy, fiscal policy, 2 marks. It can contribute to 4 marks and easy to understand. NSA, 1 question around NSA, system of national accounts. Another question is around the GDP or the calculation or method. Union budget आपका, we will be going through the current budget as well as the core fundamentals, right? So because this is remaining from our concept class series also. The first one, fundamentals of economics, micro, macro, and the type of economies, which are, so type of economies, feature of different economies. Aaka economic question, this get asked in your May 2023, which 25, sorry. The fundamental economic question, what to produce, how to produce, whom to produce, which every economy face, right? Macroeconomy versus macroeconomics, the feature. So 1 question you can expect around this. 1 question whether it is around micro versus macro, or आपका the mixed economy, command economy, and आपका socialistic, this market economy, their features and others, right? Or the comparison and all, right? Next one, okay, 1 question. हाँ जी Pradeep sir. So fundamentals economic problems are correct. So every society economy आपका regardless of economic system, means whether it is आपका command economy, mixed economy, or your market economy, must address 3 fundamental economic problem: what to produce, how to produce, whom to produce. 100% true. The question of what to produce involve deciding the type and quantities of goods and services, including आपका balance between consumption. So every economy is facing all these questions, but in like the type of economy will decide who will address these questions. In case of command economy, government will decide. In case of market economy, purely decided by the manufacturer and the consumer. In case of mixed economy like India, where consumer plus government jointly, businesses and government jointly solve these particular questions. How to produce, focus only on selecting the most advanced technology? No. Who will perform that particular one will also come under this one, right? Whom to produce, when it comes to this, address the income distribution and whether resources are allocated equitably. Aapka, this is the one, true. The 3 economic problems are relevant for capitalistic economy, not for this. No, they are applicable to all. 1 to 4. 1 to 4 means आपका option C will be right answer for this particular one. Very good, well done guys. Why other people are not answering? Demand and supply, one of the most important unit from module B, because if you understood this particular topic well, this will help you to understand the unit number आपका 15 also, right? The theories of interest. So we have at least 3 marks, guys. 3 marks from here and 3-4 marks from your overall आपका on an average 6 marks you can expect based on these two topics. 6 marks, guys, right? So and demand schedule, आपका law of marginal utility, forces behind demand curve. This get asked. Shift in demand and expectation of law of demand, very important. Supply schedule, आपका forces behind supply, shift in supply. Equilibrium is another point आपका, which is kind of bit important from this particular one. So let's practice one question. This is around the supply schedule. So when it comes to the supply schedule, show the relationship between the market law of supply, basically how we design this particular one. It is आपका like this, right? So this is your supply curve and this is your demand curve, right? So the intersection point is your equilibrium. So this is supply curve. So first one, the law of supply show the relationship between the market price a good and quantity supplied, are keeping other factor constant. So supplier, they want to, this is your price and this is our quantity. So supplier want to sell more at a higher price and less at lower price. So this is correctly mentioned here. An increase in the price of good lead to increase in quantity of goods supplied, 100% true, at higher prices because supplier want to sell more, true hai. Third statement is the supply curve for goods is downward sloping. No, demand is आपका downward. This is आपका upward sloping, indicating higher price lead to lower supply. No, higher price lead to high supply and others, and upward and high supply. So this is wrong. 1 and 2. A will be correct answer. Everyone went wrong except Pradeep sir आपका, right? Huh? So not C, guys. Okay? So option A will be right answer for this one. So no worries. While we will be doing the revision, I'll keep those short notes also. So quickly we will revise the areas. Next one we have money supply and inflation. Two aspect, 2 marks. Downside 2 marks, I'm telling you. It can be higher than that also. One question is around money supply, the definition of money supply, or the last question was based on the definition of money supply, the uses itself. The another one was, the question was the causes behind inflation. Okay, that demand pull inflation and cost push inflation. Now there are some changes in CPI also. So CPI, that base year and others. So this can be tested this time, or that monetary policy wala things or the base and others, right? So some areas which we have to upper track. Which of the following statement are the function of money? So what will be your correct answer? Money eliminate the need for barter system. It's a medium of exchange, easy. Money cannot be used for future transaction. It has a store value, so it can be used for the future transaction. Money help in determining the value of goods and services by serving as a measure of value itself. Correct. 1 and 3. C should be right answer for this particular one. Easy one. Next one. आपका inflation. And one suggestion to all of you, especially those who are watching on this session आपका on YouTube. So I'll not recommend आपका relying on Macmillan question. Okay, if you'll see the Macmillan question, they are very small question and all. हाँ, the areas where they have frame question, they'll get asked, and mostly, believe me guys, if this is your first time, even 1 marker question will be for आपका 3 to 4 statement, and you will not get that enough time to revisit the your आपका questions and all, right? So you have to mentally prepare for this. Prepare for 2 marker question. If you prepare for those, you will automatically prepare for 1 mark and half mark question, especially half mark question. Half marker question is आपका 40 question for 20 marks only. 1 marker question, the problem with 1 marker question is sometimes what you will feel, 1 marker question are more tougher than 2 marker, because you have to go through 2-3 questions, 3 to 4 statement, that is consuming equal time to आपका 2 marker question, right? So you have to focus around the 2 marker question. You have to practice accordingly, so during the examination you will not have that kind of stress or anxiety and others, right? Okay, next question. Sushil sir is saying option A. Other people, guys, what you suggest? So demand pull inflation, increase in demand, lead to increase in prices. So demand, aggregate demand except to aggregate supply, 100% true. Second statement, cost push inflation, increase in production cost or any other आपका that lead to the increments in the prices. An increase in money supply can contribute demand pull inflation. If we will have more money, so we will make higher demand. That will lead to demand pull inflation. Cost push inflation occur only when there is shortage of goods. No, it is increase in raw material prices, government taxes, or many other factors are also behind this particular one. So 1, 2, 3 means option A will be right answer for this particular one. Correct? Hai? Pradeep sir, A. A will be right answer for this one. Well, you are trying. Why other? There are 19, 20 people are watching and they are very silent and relaxed. Now, guys, this is the time. You have anyhow you have to give me your next 1 month with full dedication. So next one आपका theories of interest. When it comes to theories of interest, this is something which is linked with आपका 13 unit 13. If you done with that one, that will help you to understand. See how we decide the theory, how we decide the interest. आपका similar logic that this is आपका supply, this is your demand. Who creates supply? आपका the savers, the individual who save money, or who create demand, the other those who borrowers, the industries and all those who taking loan. So what we want to borrow at a lower price, and आपका the supply, basically the demand and supply. ठीक है? So I have created this reverse. ठीक है? Demand and supply. ठीक है? So basically when it comes to the areas, the equilibrium points where आपका, if this is area, so this is kind of a surplus, it will come down. If this is आपका area, this is आपका deficit, they'll come up, right? So the point where they actually आपका meet with each others, that is the interest rate, which how we decide in this. Now we have theories like Keynes liquidity preference theory is one of the most important one. Then we have IS and LM curve related to your money market decision and upper monetary policy or fiscal policy impact in the market. So these are some areas which is bit important related to the आपका this particular one. When it comes to Keynes preference, आपका the three preferences why people save money. So there are three preferences आपका, that contingency, another one that also get asked many time in your examination. So you have to be a bit careful around that one. So regarding the classical theory of interest, one question, let's quickly go through this. Rajni ma'am, no worries. See, what we have to do, because you are following things on the regular basis, what I can see, आपका the practice which we will be doing from the Monday na, you just have to attend those ones. Like with every subtopic, I'll be keeping those mind map and other also, so we can quickly revise the areas and all, right, with every question. But first we will practice question, because when we read question na, when we correct that particular, even if it is incorrect answer na, so when you participate in that one, your memory, your आपका visual memory will help you to remember or recall those particular facts. That is the logic, right? So when it comes to this, the rate of interest determined by the equilibrium of demand and supply. Then we have demand for capital is directly related. No, they are inversely related, right? So if there will be high demand, interest आपका, so like demand for the capital is directly related. No, they are inversely related. Okay? Interest rate will come down when there is आपका capital. If we'll be having more money, means if they'll be having more money, more capital, more supply, and when there is less money or less capital, it will lead to increase. That should be wrong. They are inversely related, right? The supply capital is influenced by saving, which depend on the factor like income and willingness to save. As per the classical theory, this is true. The classical theory consider interest is a real phenomena determined by the real factor like saving and investment. True hai. The next one is your Keynes criticize this particular one, classical theory. Interest is a reward parting with the liquidity, not with the saving. And for the liquidity, keeping that liquid money, there are three reasons which generally Keynes which generally suggest in their theory, right? To 1, 3, 4, 5. 1, 3, 4, 5 means option D should be right answer for this particular one. Correct? Next one, IS and LM curve. Okay, this is also in previous examination also this all get asked. So when it comes to IS and LM curve, A rightward shift in IS curve indicate an increase in the aggregate demand due to supply expansion. Yes, if it is आपका moving from here to here, that means there is आपका in it the government have increased the aggregate demand due to आपका the relaxation in taxes or the supply of money and others. This is true. The another one is a leftward shift in LM curve when central government increase the money supply. No, if LM curve is related to money monetary policy, but it will when it is there is a आपका leftward shift, that means government have or RBI have decreased this particular one. If it is coming from here to here, there is contractionary monetary policy from RBI. This should be wrong. Contractionary monetary policy raise interest rate and lower the national income. Yes, this is they increase the repo rate, so there will be less money supply that will impact the overall output in the economy. That is true. 1 and 3 means option B should be right answer for this particular one. Very good, guys. Awesome. Chalo. Next one. Business cycle. Next one we have business cycle. One question for 1 marks or half marks. Basically the characteristics of business cycle. So you just have to understand that way. Like which of the following is not a characteristic of your recovery phase? Okay, not a characteristic of recovery phase. To increase the aggregate demand in recovery phase आपका ठीक है. So how we are moving this. So this is the area आपका, right? Recovery, where we are having recovery from your draw, just after the draw. So increase आपका demand will increase, employment will increase in bank lending and credit, this will also increase, right? Continuous deflation, no. If lending is increasing, this also increasing, demand is increasing, inflation will come down, right? Sorry, inflation will also increase. Okay, that is आपका inflation wave is just linked with these particular one. So not correct आपका. So what will be your correct answer? Option D should be right answer for this particular. Very good. Next one. Monetary policy and fiscal policy. This is kind of the area where you are like every banker is familiar with these particular tool. So this is something which will help you to get 3 to 4 marks easily. So you have to go through the content once. The tool like SDF. The question was based on SDF in May 25. So sometime the other tool LAF, the overall आपका liquidity window LAF or tri-party repo, which also get asked आपका. So the areas. So one question for sure it will be around the monetary policy, because when you go through this unit, this unit is all about monetary policy. The content when you will go through 80 to 85% it is around monetary policy, 10-15% it is around your आपका fiscal policy, because they have already included one another unit which is called budget. So आपका standing deposit SDF, it is kind of a similar to reverse repo, but it is without collateral. That's why banks are getting higher interest. So SDF allow RBI to absorb liquidity from the bank without providing collateral. Deposit under SDF are considered for the maintenance of CRR. No, they can be used for SLR but not for CRR. SDF can be used for financial stability tool in addition to liquidity management. Yes, so 1 and 3 option C should be right answer for this one, right? So deposit आपका SDF are not considered for CRR maintenance under section this particular one. Next one. Okay, one question around fiscal policy, the taxation or the different type of fiscal policies and others, right? So that generally comes under this one. Very, very good evening, Chaya ma'am. So fiscal policy involve changes in government expenditure and taxation to achieve microeconomics goal. आपका it is macroeconomics, sorry, ठीक है, macroeconomics goal true है. Fiscal policy which comes under the macroeconomics. Higher taxes reduce disposable income. If government will increase taxes, the disposable income is the income which you remain with after the deducting all the taxes, right? Let's say your income is 12 lakh, like monthly income is supposed at 1 lakh, and you have to pay, let's say 10,000 taxes, so 90,000, that is your disposable income. So if government will increase taxes, your disposable income will come down. If government will decrease taxes, your disposable income will increase. So which can impact the consumption and saving, correct है? Government transfer payment such as pension and unemployment benefit are example of indirect. These are the example of indirect government आपका purchase of goods and services. No, ठीक है? This is wrong. This is not, they are not part of the direct one. Option A should be right answer for this one, right? So transfer direct after this goods and they are provide income support and others. Next one, A will be right answer. Huh? Everyone is wrong, I guess. Next one, A. Sorry, next unit आपका, which is system of national account and GDP. So national account and GDP. Last time there was one statement based question around the the sequence like GDP. In May, it was question was about SNA, system of national account, and last time it was GDP, आपका GNP, NNP और आपका NDP, right? These were the areas. So which generally get asked in the examination. Basically, they have defined those particular one in liners, and you have to find out the right and wrong one. So when it comes to system of national accounts 2008, this is something आपका kind of we are trying to create some sort of uniformity कि when economies they calculate their national income, so they follow a similar set of guidelines, right? That is the one. Then computation of GDP and the different methods: income method, production method, and expenditure method. Three methods are there. You have to work around those particular one, right? So one question around SNA, which were from your 2000 sorry, May 2025 examination. So the system of national accounts provide an internationally standardized framework for compiling macroeconomics data, ensuring global comparability. True है. Second one, base year revision in national accounts is primarily done due to inflation rate rather than the structural economic changes. No, it is more toward to the structural economic changes along with your आपका inflation in others, right? So we also change the base year for the GDP. That is important aspect. 2008 SNA developed under the Inter-Secretariat Working Group, National Accounts, आपका Eurostat, IMF, OECD, UN and others. All UN members national are legally bound to implement SNA. No, there is no legal foundation. This is आपका kind of a suggestion, right? You are not legally bound to other those particular, but it is suggested because whenever we'll be coming up with some sort of global report, whenever IMF will come up with the World Economic Outlook report and others, so they'll be doing the comparability based on आपका SNA standards and all. In India, GDP base year last change in 2000 आपका 4-5 2011-12 to align आपका this for this one it is correct. Now we are moving this particular one. And what is the projected GDP growth आपका base year or the next base year what we are going to use? So what will be your correct answer, guys? Anyone? So what will be your correct answer? 135. 135 means option A will be correct answer for this one. Very good, Pranav sir. So option A will be right answer for this particular one. Another question which they asked, this was around the GDP. The tool आपका basically while we calculate the GDP, we use different areas. No, that is the projection. Okay, base year. Pradeep sir, I'm talking about the new GDP base year which get announced during the budget आपका, ठीक है? So what will be your answer? So earlier it was 11-12, now it is 22-23. 20. We will be doing one session around the current affairs things, mostly around 15 or in next week on next weekend आपका next week or Saturday Sunday, and that topic will link with the CAIIB people also. So when it comes to this particular one, so GDP calculated using income approach, including wage, rent, interest, profit, true, and indirect taxes, wrong, right? So this last statement, when it comes to the income approach, we have four sources: okay? Land, labor, capital, entrepreneurship, and this is the outcome, not indirect taxes. So this is wrong. One last आपका pointers which made this statement wrong. Net export, export minus import in expenditure method to adjust the international trade. Yes. GDP minus आपका depreciation, GDP minus depreciation in NDP. GDP आपका obtained by summing the value added across all the sectors. Real GDP is always higher than the nominal GDP. No, reverse आपका nominal GDP. Nominal GDP is basically calculated on current market prices. It is like, let's say we are calculating this marker. So marker current market price is 100 rupees. This is the current market price. ठीक है? And the base year price आपका, suppose that if we consider 11-12 और आपका the recent one 2022-23, so it is suppose that here it is आपका 90 rupees, here it is आपका 85 rupees. So this is real GDP numbers. ठीक है? This is real numbers when we are comparing with this one, adjusting the structural changes, and this is आपका. तो nominal GDP will always be higher than your आपका real GDP, right? That is the statement. So that's why this is wrong. Government spending in expenditure method includes salaries of public servant and military equipments purchase, but exclude the transfer payments. आपका yes. GDP at factor cost is derived by subtracting the indirect taxes, and GDP at market price. This also correct. So 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. Do we have 2, 3, 4, 6, 7? Option C should be right answer for this particular one. Correct? Yes. Very good, Pradeep sir. Chalo. Next one. Union budget. So union budget, see, in 2000, in May examination, in November, there was no direct question around this. But in May, what they asked, ki, during that budget, if you study 2025-26 budget, that was, the government focus was mostly around the capital expenditure, capex आपका, ठीक है? So they asked one question around that thought, कि why government is focusing around this particular one, what is the core or the objective behind that particular one, and all these kind of things. So the income expenditure, basically when it comes to union budget, it is kind of a financial plan for a year for the government. It is generally defined as your income and expenditure statement for a financial year, right? So that income sources, expenditure sources, we have capital income and revenue income, capital expenses and revenue expenses, right? So government, about the government receipt, in the government receipt, the sources of income, basically revenue receipt and capital receipt. Revenue receipt, which we generally manage through the taxes and non-taxes, taxes direct and indirect, and capital receipt is basically the borrowings of the government. These are the two different areas of this particular one. Now, non-tax revenue is calculated after deducting the state share of NCCD transfer for the gross income revenues and others. This is true. This is आपका National Calamity and Contingency Deposit and others. There is a full form for this. So the another one is interest, receipt, dividends, profit are part of non-tax revenue for the government. Yes. Disinvestment are classified as debt receipt. No, they are non-debt receipt. Disinvestment means when government selling stake in the PSUs, right? So that is not part of a debt receipt. You do not have to pay any interest on that one. We are selling the ownership, right? Market borrowings and external debt are example of debt receipt. Total receipt include total revenue, capital and others. That is generally part of this particular. One another important area is from this topic is the deficit, type of deficit, that also get asked many times. I'll check if I have kept the question also. No, I forget this one. So deficit, the different type of deficit, they are also a bit important from this particular topic, right? Now we will be entering into module C. Module C is something which can be done through the practice only, right? So this is something aapka, there are few important areas where you have to pay the special attention. DFI, especially the new one, NFIT and others, NARCL and others. Then we have your mic. This is something very, very important one. See, like you will see question from other topic also, but this is something where you have to go through once. This is aapka, they have given all the section of BR Act and others. 3-4 marks question will be there. If you have read the PPV, that will help you here also. And insurance companies, e-insurance, and that Insurance Act or LIC Act and GIC Act are generally part of this one. Reforms, this is also very important one. Reforms and development, sorry, regulators in this. Reforms and development, which is again a bit important one from this particular unit. Let's go through this one. The first, overview. If you are completely new, if you are आपका just started this one, I suggest completely ignore this unit, because the things which are part of this particular unit, directly or indirectly, they get covered with your आपका upcoming areas, right? So let's go through this particular one. Which of the following statement regarding the banking reforms recommended by Narasimham 1 Committee 1 are correct? So earlier also we talked about this. So capital adequacy ratio was set at 8% RBI in April 1992, ensure financial stability. The first statement is आपका correct. So earlier it was 8%, and with आपका committee 2 we increased this one to 9%. Right? So that is something which generally part of this particular one. The another one is your recovery debt due to bank in this 1993, under which we formed the DRT and DRAT. That is आपका true. The new private sector bank were restricted from the raising capital from the foreign institution. No, they are allowed. FDI. First time we introduced the FDI with 20% आपका slab in 2000. So we come up with the privatization and liberalization the area banking system also. So 1 and 2, A should be right answer for this particular one. But all these things will get covered with your coming topic also. Banking structure, this is something the all about the banking. Here there are some areas like RRBs. The function of banks in schedule and non-schedule, this categorization is bit important. Then आपका local area bank, RRBs, differentiated banks. Then we have आपका technology, recent development in banking sector. So these are some important areas which you can tap around. Local area bank, which get asked recently. So local area banks, and you have to find out the incorrect statement. So local area bank, and you have to find out the incorrect statement. So local area banks are registered as public limited companies under the Companies Act, but they are licensed under the Banking Regulation Act 1949. The first one is true. The jurisdiction of local area bank is limited to maximum 5. No, it is how many district आपका? Maximum 3. ठीक है, contiguous district, wrong है. Local area bank are allowed to open multiple branches in urban centers. No, they can have only one branch in आपका the urban centers and all, right? So this is also wrong. Means आपका what we have to find out incorrect statement means 2 and 3 means option C will be right answer for this particular question, right? So option C will be correct answer for this particular one. Correct है? All right, chalo. Just guys, just allow me. I'll take a break of 5 minutes, huh? And then I'll continue this one. Just allow me 5 minutes. So I'll make a tea quickly, and then because it will take one another hour, and we'll take a just a short break of 5 minutes, and then we will continue. And I have to change this location also. So till that time, I'll fix this one. 10 minutes. No, it will be too late, huh? Chalo. Okay. Everyone, guys. Okay, guys. So shall we start? Everyone, can you hear me now? Everything is fine now. So now the next unit is your it is full of आपका BR Act and RBI Act. Two act get covered under this particular one. So part one, which is all about RBI Act, and part two is all about BR Act. So this is something kind of static, which you have to go through all the content which is given in your book itself. So once and twice, if you practice that particular one, okay, this is something module C, as I said earlier also. The unit wise practice will help you a lot in this particular case, right? Okay, thank you so much, Rukmini ma'am. Chalo. Now we will be starting with this or we'll continue this particular discussion. The first one, when it comes to like, let's practice some question also, how they usually ask. Mostly the question will be for one marker and they'll be for 3 to 4 statement question. So with respect to the provision of mention under the RBI Act 1934, you have to find out the correct statement. Okay, I'll hide myself. So first, central government on recommendation of the Central Board of RBI can specify currency denomination up to 20,000. It is how much? Up to 10,000 only, right? Section 22 or something. The another one is RBI is exempted from paying stamp duty on banknote or issued by it under the Stamp Act 1899. No person is entitled to buy or sell foreign exchange value less than 2 lakh. This is also correct. The another one is scheduled commercial bank are required to maintain CRR with RBI, a percentage of their NDTL. This is also correct. The act specify minimum and maximum percentage of CRR. No, now it is in the discrimination of RBI. So 234 means आपका option D. Yes, very good, Silva Makhani sir. So option D will be right answer for this particular question. Correct? आपका any doubt? If you are having any doubt, please do let me know. Next one we have DFI, Development Financial Institution. So from last 2-3 sessions, mostly the question is around NEFIT. One question for sure you'll face around the NEFIT, right? So आपका this is the one, the newly built one, and the most important area is these your आपका SIDB, EXIM, NABARD, NHB, and this. So this I'll suggest if you are late, you can focus around these particular areas. They'll help you. The maximum probability that generally comes around this particular one, right? So like the DFIs, and you have to find out the correct statement. So the Life Insurance Corporation (LIC) was set up in 1956. The exam आपका was carved out the IDBI in 1982. The next one said we NABARD NSB primarily function as refinancing institutions with regulatory and supervisory role. National Bank for Financing Infrastructure Development was established in 2021. So what will be your correct answer? All the statements are correctly mentioned here. So this is आपका correct and correct. Means आपका D should be right answer for this particular one. Correct here? Right? No. Why B? B is what? Second one is also correct, na? The second statement is also correct, right? So EXIM was carved out from the IDBI in 1982. Earlier, the most of the EXIM activities were handled by the IDBI, but now we created EXIM, a separate entity to deal with the import-export things and all, right? Then DFI, आपका development. Okay, sorry, this got repeated or what? Microfinance institution. The next one is microfinance institution. So this is something which is very, very important, right? The role of microfinance institution or the Grameen Bank model or JLGs or the other आपका the microfinance itself, the qualification, the amount or the EMI or the other areas of this part is bit important, right? So when it comes to evolution of microfinance, then we have this first important subtopic from the Bangladesh, Mohammad Yunus and the story itself. Delivery of microfinance, आपका SSG, self-help groups, bank linkage program, very very important one. JLG is आपका regulatory frameworks for this. Then we have RBI directions, RBI fair practices guidelines in it. They are very basic, understandable, as applicable to banks, similarly to these particular one. So self-help group linkage program, we have three different model. So you have to go through all those three models and all. They'll help you to understand the areas itself, right? I'll shift myself. Right. So now when it comes to this, self-help group must complete the CDD for all members before opening saving account. It is not required. At the time of lending, it is required. Second statement, bank cannot take collateral security from self-help group while granting loan. True है. Model 2, which is आपका most famous linkage program, NGO facilitate the formation of SSG, but bank directly आपका provide finance to the SSG. So 2 and 3 means option B will be correct answer for this one, not C. Option B will be right answer for this particular one, right? Next one, NBFCs, back to back, another important topic from this particular unit. So NBFCs, again आपका this is more important than your microfinance if it comes to the weightage. Again 3 marks you can expect based on this. The classification of NBFC regulation आपका, then we have regulatory oversight, type of NBFCs, concept of own fund and net own funds. This get asked many times. Bank finance to NBFCs, fair practices, ombudsman scheme आपका, ठीक है. Scale based classification or regulation is another important aspect from this particular topic. One of the most important topic from your module C, kind of, right? So non-banking NBFC, and you have to find out the incorrect statement. So incorrect statement regarding the NBFCs and all. So what will be your correct answer? Now I have to hide myself. So first, NBFC can engage in financial activities such as loan and advances, leasing, acquisition of shares, but cannot undertake activities related to agriculture, industry, or real estate transactions as per the prudential guidelines. This is true. The another one is NBFC are allowed to issue check. No, they are not part of PSS Act 2007, Payment and Settlement System Act. So this is wrong. They are not part of the Payment and Settlement System Act. So a company whose principal business is accepting deposit under any scheme or arrangement आपका classified as residuary NBFCs and special provision from RBI. As per the RBI Act 1934, NBFC must have minimum net own funds of 5 crores. No, it is आपका how much? 2 crores. And to compliance this one, so this is also wrong. So 1 and 3. 1 and 3 means option C should be right answer for this particular one, right? So 1 and 3. Yes, option C. Statement 2, what you are saying, NBFC allowed to issue check drawn on themselves but cannot be part of the payment and settlement system. No, even they cannot issue check आपका, ठीक है. This is also wrong. This should be wrong. We'll check the answer also. The first statement is correct. आपका, they engage in financial and other areas. NBFCs cannot issue check drawn on themselves and are not part of the payment and settlement system. Third statement, residuary NBFC is defined as a company whose principal business is accepting deposit under the scheme or arrangement. Fourth one is आपका wrong. It is आपका 2 crores, right? So 2 crore was, okay. चलो. So 2 crore आपका, this is the one. It was mentioned 5 crore na. So it should be 1 and 3. 1 and 3 means C, not D आपका, right? It should be option C, not D आपका, right? So option C will be right answer for this particular one. Next one. So 26 आपका, which is about the insurance companies, or kind of the introduction of the insurance industry, regulation, act, and the type of insurance companies and all. Even not type आपका, that is part of your आपका module D. So when it comes to this, the areas like insurance business globally in India, insurance penetration and density. This get asked many time in your examination. Insurance penetration and density. Number of insurance companies, no. Legislation, this is आपका Insurance Companies Act 1938. Intermediaries, reinsurance, आपका repository and this. These last topic na, they are very, very important one from this one. So 2 marks question you can expect, or 1 marks, or even multiple half marks question you can expect based on these particular one. So first question, guys. So e-insurance account, and you have to find out the correct statement. So e-insurance account and the correct one. So first आपका an individual can open multiple, no, one e-insurance account is allowed. E-insurance account provide free of cost to the applicant. A person without an insurance policy can still open this. Convert existing policies into electronic format. A service request must be made to insurer or the repository itself. Authorized representative can claim, no, they cannot claim आपका until unless they have आपका assign as a assignee or nominee, right? This is wrong. So 234 means option B. Guys, you guys doing आपका wrong answers. ठीक है? So B will be right answer for this one. Please go through this one quickly. Just allow me 1 minute. I'm scheduling one class for ma'am. Okay. So when it comes to Insurance Act 1938, so the act mandate that every insurer must obtain a certificate from registration from the controller of insurance, which is APA, true. Second statement, the act prohibit offering rebate on insurance premium. The act allow insurer to invest freely without restriction from the government. No, government आपका areas is there, right? So 1 and 2. 1 and 2 means option A will be right answer for this. So Insurance Act or the other e-insurance repository, these are some most important areas from this unit. Unit number 27, which is Indian financial regulators and their role. Right. So this is something all about the all major regulators, and you have to, like, we cannot do any sort of segregation among these particular one. So first, which of the following statement regarding the structure, power, regulatory function of SEBI are correct? So SEBI can attach bank account of any person associated with securities market only after approval from the judicial magistrate of the first class. True है. SEBI organizational structure include 4 full-time members 3 part-time members appointed directly by the stock exchanges? No. We have आपका chairman, which is headed by chairman, आपका 3 full-time, 4 part-time, 3 full-time and so okay, it should be reversed, 3 full-time and 4 part-time, and these get appointed by the government or RBI. ठीक है, they get appointed by government, ठीक है, mostly आपका Ministry of Finance. So this should be wrong. SEBI has authority to impound and retain securities or proceed from transactions under the investigation. Third statement. Fourth one is SEBI can prohibit issue of prospectus or advertisement soliciting the funds from the public. Even companies act permit that one. Yes. SEBI power are restricted to a primary market and does not regulate activities in secondary market. No, primary and secondary both get regulated by the SEBI itself. So 134. 134 means option B will be right answer for this particular one. Very good, Sivasa. Reforms in banking sector. So when it comes to this unit, last time the question was around the question was about ease reforms. Okay, the question was around the ease in आपका this. NAFID is another part आपका. NARCL is another important one, which working as a bad bank. So this is all the one. So less probability get asking आपका about NAFID because it is part of other topic also. So these two become important from this particular unit itself. So NAFID आपका and the correct answers. So NAFID was established as a deposit taking financial institution. No, as it is a DFI and DFI do not accept deposit from the customers. NAFID aim not only land and invest infrastructure project but also help develop market for bond and derivatives. The third one is the initial ownership of NAFID fully owned by government, but it can be reduced to 26% after later, yes, as per the provision, and only government can dissolve this one. So 2 and 3, again option B will be right answer for this particular one. Next one. Okay. Module D. So 17 units are there. And this is something like, see, around 35 marks question you can downside expect from this one. And this is something which is part of the current working things and all. So that's why it is very, very important one. So you can ignore aapka financial market introduction, money market, the areas, the instrument, capital market, forex, debt market. We have interconnectedness and market dynamics, merchant banking, derivatives, factoring, forfeiting and trades, venture capital, lease and hire purchase, credit ratings, mutual funds, insurance, pension, para banking, and REITs versus INBIT. Each you'll see or you'll experience question from each and every single unit which is part of this particular module. This financial market is kind of, even that also get asked. The question was around the price discovery aapka, right? So like what you guys are, you can expect around within a range of 35 to 40 marks. 35 downside you can expect based on this one, right? So this is something which you have to tap very well. So financial market, when it comes to this, आपका function of financial market and segment of financial market and price discovery, the most important subtopic from this particular unit, because it will not get आपका repeated. The other things which will get repeated mostly. So the question was around price discovery mechanism in financial market, how we decide the prices or how prices get decided in the financial market itself. So let's go through the statement. So what will be your correct answer? So price discovery refer to the process of determining the price of an asset solely through the regulatory intervention and monetary policy announcement. No. So when it comes to price discovery, it is based on the market factors, demand and supply kind of things, and they do have influences. These aapka, they have influence on the areas. Equilibrium price achieve when number of buyers and sellers are relatively equal, ensure fair prices for both parties. Third one is volatility and available information are among the key factors influencing the price discovery process. An overbought asset typically indicate that its market price is higher than the intrinsic value. risk seeking आपका buyer behaviors, yes. When demand fall while sharply when demand fall while sharply rise, the prices of the asset to decline until a new equilibrium is established. This is also correct. So 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 4, 5 means 2, 3, no, 2, 3, 4, 5 means option D will be right answer for this particular one. Right. Next one. Money market. So unit number 30, which is all about your the instruments and the areas like TLTRO, BRDS, tri-party repo. This get asked many times, and call money, notice money was part of your May, and the limit aapka under the call and notice money, how much they can borrow, or the different institutions they can borrow. So that was generally part of this one, right? So, and you cannot say ki like they'll ask question around this or this. They can pick anyone. So you have to be a bit careful around these particular areas. So call money, notice money, and term money in India. Very simple question, I guess. So call money refer to the lending on borrowing of 1 day. Notice money 2 to 14 days. First statement, which is correct. Notice money, the non-bank institutions such as insurance companies and mutual funds are both borrow and lend this particular one. No, they are only after they are known as market makers, right? So they can only lend, they cannot borrow from this particular market. So this should be wrong. Third statement, Reserve Bank of India supervise the market and issue guidelines. This market get regulated by RBI. Fourth one, trade in call and notice money, term money, conducted through NDS call system and settled through RTGS of RBI system. Yes. Primary dealers can borrow in call and notice money market up to 225% of their net own funds on daily average basis on reporting overnight. So 225% of daily average, this is true. And overall aapka, even in case of primary dealers, it is 225% in both the cases. In some cases aapka it is 100% and 125% at a time on a single day, 125, or aapka daily average is 100. So option B is the right answer. What was the statement? Aapka B is 1345. So 1345, yes. So option B is the right answer for this particular one. Capital market, stock exchanges. So primary versus secondary market, stock exchanges in India. Then we have aapka terminologies with this capital issue. This is again important part. Eligibility norms, very important. Intermediation of issue, S by application, QIPs and their qualification or the limit itself. So again, very important areas from this particular aspect, right? So how they ask question, they give you a small reference, a kind of a case study, and based on that they generally ask the question. So you do not have to go through this, I guess. Okay, now we have to go through this. ABC Infrastructure, a large infrastructure development company, plan to raise 1,000 crores from upcoming metro rail project for upcoming upcoming rail आपका metro rail project. To mobilize the required capital, it decided to issue secured debenture to public. The company appoint XYZ Capital Service as a merchant banker and National Bank Limited as a banker to the issue. The issue structured in compliance with SEBI pre-guidelines and relevant for this Companies Act. Upon the successful subscription, allotment are debenture are listed in the NSE to allow the investor to trade freely. After a few months, one institutional investors, Pioneer Mutual Funds, purchase a large quantity of debentures. Thus, around the national banks on areas in all services and the client in this. Based off the above scenario, identify the correct statement. The first statement is here. The issuance of secured debenture by ABC Infrastructure Limited through the public subscription represent an activity of primary market. So issuance that generally happen in primary market. The transaction between Pioneer Mutual Funds and retail investor group A represent a secondary market transaction. That is also correct. XYZ service act as an intermediary XYZ service provider is worked as an intermediary market by managing the issue as a merchant banker. Yes. National Bank Limited function only as a banker to the issue. This entire process cannot be participate in secondary market. No, they should be wrong. The trading of debenture of the NSE occurs in auction market, which is part of the secondary market structure. Yes, trading which generally happen always in secondary market, right? So 1 2 3 5 means option A only occurs the right. So see, the question is similar to the fundamentals only, but they have created a small case study around that particular one. Next one, there was another question around the demutualization. I hope I have included that question also. Stock exchanges in India and identify the correct one. So this is something bit static based. BSE established in 1875, the oldest stock exchange in India and first आपका to receive the permanent recognition from the SEBI. Second, NSE established in 1992 among two major stock exchanges, and this is आपका true. The third one is volume wise NSE is bigger than BSE, but number of listed companies we are having more in BSE, right? The Calcutta Stock Exchange in 1908 continue to be as one of the most active. No, nowadays Calcutta Stock Exchange is like there are from many years. आपका there is no trade in this. India International Exchange आपका India INX and NSE IFSC are subsidiaries of BSE and NSE in आपका IFSC Gift City Gandhinagar Gujarat. This is something which is very important one. Huh? This get asked many times. Please do remember this. The OTC over the counter exchange of India was set up in 1990, facilitate cost effective fundraising for small and medium enterprises and new promoters. Yes. So 1 2 4 5 1 2 4 5 means 1 2 4 5 means option D should be right answer for this particular one, right? Next one. Okay, that demutualization wala concept is also important, that get asked many times. So while we will be going through the unit wise practice, we'll definitely revising that particular part, right? Chalo. Next one, fixed income or money market, fixed income market, or which is also known as bond market. It is part of your AFM also, but the dimension is bit different from here. So basically this is all about the background of this. So government securities theorem, aapka bond theorem, we have only 4 theorems, so you have to work around those one. In AFM we have 10 theorems. Auction of government securities, RDS is one of the most important, and SRO, which is your fixed income money market and derivative association of India, that is another important area from this one. So these are some areas which you have to tap anyhow, right? So primary dealers and FIMMDA, and even that RDS also get asked in your May examination. So primary dealers are registered with RBI and purchase government securities directly from RBI to create a market for them. This is आपका true. The company incorporated under Companies Act 56 or 2013, registered as NBFC for at least 1 year, can approach to become a standalone आपका primary dealers. Bank primary dealers are department of the bank that function as primary dealers. Standalone PDs are registered after NBFCs, right? If even your bank want to start a standalone, so they have to separately register them as a NBFC, or we can run as a departmental business. FIMMDA, a statutory regulator, no, it is an SRO, self-regulatory organization similar to IBA or Foreign Exchange Dealer Association of India or MFI, right? The role of primary dealer include underwriting services, bidding government securities auction, providing bid and ask code, and developing the secondary market. Yes. So 1 2 3 1 2 3 and 5, option C will be right answer for this particular one. Next one. Okay, this is the one. So RDS, this is something again very important one, which is providing a direct access to retailers to purchase securities directly from RBI. So retail investor, they can open direct account with the RBI itself, right? So the feature of, then this get asked many time, in 2020 आपका this 4 also and 5 also. So a retail investor can open RDZs account singly or jointly, provided they meet eligibility criteria such as PAN, KYC, bank account, and a registered mobile number and all. So that is a basic requirement of KYC. Only resident investors are eligible under the scheme. NRI cannot. NRI also come if they are eligible under the FEMA regulation and all. Okay, this is up under FEMA regulations. They can also open. This is wrong. RDZ account allow investor to participate in primary accounts of government securities, as well as the secondary market transactions through the NDS open market operation and others. Then securities purchased under RDS credited to RDZ account on the day of settlement, and funds are from the sale transaction are credited to link account on the same day. That is the meaning of settlement. True hai. Opening and maintaining RDC's account as well as submitting bid in primary auction incur no fee through though the charges gateway and others they charge this one. Yes, this is a free of cost account. So 1345 means option A should be right answer for this. That is the right answer for this particular one. Correct hai? Unit number 34, which is all about interconnectedness among the market and market dynamics. So interconnectedness nowadays, like see guys, what happened when it comes to like this globalization things, which due to the globalization, all the market or even due to the dynamic nature of business. So our banks, they are offering almost all the type of services nowadays, right? So whether it is upper trading or banking and others. So we have some sort of interconnectedness among these, and that's this interconnection at bank level, which is managed by the treasury department, or else like even there is an interconnection among the money market, your securities market, debt market, forex market, and others, right? So we are making position in different one. Anything happening in one market that will impact the other areas, right? So interconnectedness of financial market reason. Then we have आपका the areas related to this. Last time the question was around the integrated treasury management things. I think I have included that question. Yes. So integrated treasury operation in India. So treasury department, which generally do some sort of integration, means when it comes to treasury department, their objective is risk management or generate some sort of profit for the bank, or आपका manage the ALM, asset liability mismatch. So for this one, they are using multiple market. Like let's say if we are having some sort of ALM gap, so they are using the money market. They are raising funds आपका, and they are fulfilling the bank requirement in short term. If they are having some sort of surplus money, they are using that surplus for the trading or for any other purposes. Like the incident happened recently now with this SBI bank. SBI almost lose after 300 crores rupees in that transaction because there was a regulatory risk involved with that transaction. Okay? RBI changed the guidelines, and due to that one, bank have to आपका close that position. So due to that particular one, so that is a live or living example of your kind of regulatory risk and all. The integration is basically, it is integration of all these markets. What will be correct answer? No one is answering. Integrated treasury adopt unified approach to manage both domestic and others currency resources, allowing optimal ALM and use of arbitrage opportunities. Means buying in one market, selling in another market, especially in term of currency arbitrage. Traditionally, treasury and forex operation were always integrated. No. Yeah, right. Recently, earlier they were limited. They were having a limited scope, but now the integration which happened with the digitalization or globalization, need of integration arose due to factor like deregulation of interest, liberalization, exchange, and others. Yes. One of the key function of integrated treasury is arbitrage, involving आपका exploiting price differential between market and make profit for the bank. Credit risk assessment lies fully with the treasury. No, it is आपका with the credit department. So 134 means option B will be right answer for this particular. Very good, Pradeep sir. Next unit we have merchant banking services. Again, very important one, right? This is something kind of part of your para banking, or one of the major tool under the para banking, where especially in Indian market, when companies they are going for multiple issues and all, na, like IPO, FPO and others, so or even bond issues and all. So they are seeking these kind of facilities. So this kind of activities which we generally done through the merchant banking services, and it is get regulated by SEBI, right? So we have merchant bankers, 1, 2, 3 categories and all. So definition, historical background, development, merchant banking versus commercial banking. The question was in last two session was based on this. Licensing requirement, again important one. This is also activities in fair practice code. Fair practice code is bit easy. So if you go through the things, you will easily get all those areas, right? So consider the following statement related to SEBI regulation on merchant banking. Category 1, when it comes to category 1 merchant bank, they are having kind of like the permitted act as a manager underwriters. So basically category 1 bankers, they are having maximum access to this particular market. Like we generally get registered with SEBI category 1, 2, 3. So one is having maximum access or all the access to this particular market itself. SEBI require minimum, the means first statement is to minimum net worth of 5 crore for all categories of, no, it is only for आपका category 1, not for all. The third one is happener. आपका SEBI evaluate application of merchant banking license based on the capital adequacy, professional qualification, infrastructure and others. Yes, 1 and 3. 1 and 3 means C should be right answer for this, not A. C will be correct answer for this particular one. Correct, guys? Next one, derivative. Another one of the most important or most favorite area for the examiner. Many times you'll see question based on this particular one. So derivative market आपका, that is the area. So derivative, especially that type of derivative, this area, and swap, CDS and others, these are kind of one of the emerging areas. So please do take care around this one, right? So the question is based on CDS and RBI regulation in India. So mostly CDS or the interest rate derivatives and others, they generally get asked many times in your examination. So you have to be a bit careful around this. अर्शिता, अगर रुकना है तो रुक सकती है यार, आधा घंटा. So first, आपका a credit default swap allow the buyer to transfer credit risk or the debt instruments with the buyer paying the premium for the protection. So it is something कि आपका like CDS is a tool which is used for the non-conventional आपका loan. Non-conventional loan means like let's say आपका debt instrument, bonds and others. So let's say we have purchased bond of any company worth rupees, suppose that 100 crores. So we have done the CDD or everything आपका, but still there is a probability of default. So what we have done, like let's say there's a bank called SBI, they have invested in 100 crore bonds of a XYZ company. Now what they entered into an agreement with आपका another bank, let's say it is PNB or it can be any other financial service provider. So SBI is as a asset holder, they are protection buyer, and PNB is protection seller in this particular case. So PNB is making some sort, there is an agreement between SBI and PNB. So PNB is making some sort of promises कि if the buyer default or borrower default, we will pay you the principal and interest amount, right? The outstanding thing. For that, they are charging some amount. That amount is called premium. Must, no, go here, go. So what will be your correct answer? A CDS contract in India can have asset-backed securities, mortgage-backed securities, and structured obligation references or deliverable obligation. No. Okay, this is based on the contract or the assignment basically. This is kind of an insurance policy. Retail user are allowed to trade on exchange traded CDS only. This is true. And underlying the credit is this, non-retail users are having this. Yes. The next one, a minimum three parties involved in CDS. One is protection buyer, seller, and the underlying asset. True hai. The fifth one is market makers in the CDS market include scheduled commercial bank. आपका NBFC is this. Net owned funds is 500 crores and above. That is true. Market makers, ठीक है? Who can come up with these? So 1345. 1345 means option C will be right answer for this particular one. Correct. Next one. Factoring versus forfeiting. Now the another one. So this is also a topic which is part of your this is part in your case आपका I this is part of I and IFS only, but in CAIIB also this will help you. So factoring and forfeiting, most of the time the comparison between these two. Trades is all another important area from this one, the eligibility of trades and others. And bill discounting case is there, so that is one another portion from this particular one. So now the previous year question was based on trades platform team. So it is basically for the MSMEs. The MSMEs, they can upload their bills receivable and they can discount those particular bills on this particular platform. So Trades in is a digital platform introduced by RBI in 2014, facilitate financing the trade receivable of MSMEs, corporate and buyers, including the government department and PSUs and all. Transactions under the trades on recourse, with recourse, no, they are always without recourse, without any guarantee basically, and MSMEs, they are discounting 100% of the bill. Participants in trades include MSME seller, corporate and other buyers, bank, NBFCs and others. Yes, 100% true. So 1 and 3. 1 and 3 means option B should be right answer for this particular one. Right. Next one. Venture capital, again important topic. Okay, this is kind of nowadays India has a startup culture, so there are many venture capital firms they are investing in different areas, so bit important. So concept of venture capital, the exit plan which get asked many time, evolution, characteristics, stages. One important subtopic is stages of venture capital. Another one is आपका regulatory aspect is also important, mode of this, advantages, and the last subtopic, exit route of venture capital finance, how the venture capitalists, they generally exit from their investments and all that generally comes under this. So the process of venture capital financing are correct. What is this? Come here. Come here, this side. Come here. So, आपका deal origination primarily involve the identification potential investment opportunities, often through the referral from the business partners, आपका parent organization or the personal contact in the venture capital stages of process. Screening आपका involve detailed study of the entrepreneur's track records and financial projection and others. Then we select the company based on this. Evaluation comes before the screening. No, it comes after the screening. आपका whatever selected numbers we have. Deal negotiation include agreeing on investment amount, profit sharing, and right both venture and capital and entrepreneurs. The next one is exit plan is the final stage. आपका venture capital may exit by IPO, which is most preferable way, acquisition, sale, or liquidation of assets. 1, 2, 4, 5. 1, 2, 4, 5 means आपका option B will be right answer for this particular. Very good, Pradeep sir. Next one, lease finance and hire purchase. Now this topic is again part of your आपका AFM also. In this, in AFM we have only lease finance, hire purchase is not part of that one. So when it comes to this, so that means both are important, so lease finance, आपका the type of leasing, that operating financial or the other type. Then we have the legal aspect, impact of leasing on financial ratios, regulatory aspect of lease activities, hire purchase, and the comparison. There must be comparison आपका between lease finance and आपका hire purchase, right? So lease finance and hire purchase. The question was based on that particular one only. So in lease transaction, the lessee means the आपका the person who have taken that machine on rent and paying the regular amount to the lessor or the owner of that asset does not get an option to purchase in finance in asset, wherein hire purchase आपका in general this is आपका true, right? So in finance lease they do get an option to purchase that one, but in general आपका this statement is correct. In lease finance, sorry, I'll hide myself. So in lease finance, lease rental are considered revenue expenditure for lessee, whereas hire purchase आपका it is installment, which is आपका revenue expenditure. That is the case hiring in that particular one. In both lease finance and hire purchase, I went wrong or what? In lease finance, lease rental are considered revenue expenditure, whereas in hire purchase only interest component is आपका installment is treated as revenue and the principal goes to capital contribution. This is true. Pradeep sir, this is true. In both lease and hire purchase, the lessee or hire purchaser cannot claim depreciation. In case of आपका hire purchase, they can आपका claim the depreciation for the tax purpose. Only owner and seller no. So this is wrong, right? Lease purchase is basically when it comes to lease. Let's say we are taking this premises for office purpose on rent. So this is the case. Then when in another case आपका hire purchase, we purchase a car by paying some upfront amount and we are paying EMI. So this car is part of your book and you will claim the depreciation, right? So 1 and 2 should be right answer for this particular one. Means A is the correct answer. Correct? Next one. CRA versus CIC. Again, very important one and living topic आपका. So here characteristics of credit rating, importance, benefit, factor considering while rating components or instruments, symbols आपका, regulations of CRAs, fee, CICs and thus. There was one question around the आपका rating symbols, the different categories. We have different categories now. So that was related to that only. I have created one question. Yes. So which of the following statement about the credit rating symbol and practices in India are correct? In India, 7 credit rating agencies are approved by SEBI and aggregated by RBI for this. So actually, in the beginning, we were having 7, but I guess in 2000, this is as per the book, this should be correct. But when there is one company called, I just forgot the name of that one. That name was Brickwork or someone. Okay. RBI suspended that particular one from 2014 onward, 24 onwards and others. I'll check and we'll correct that particular one. As of now, this is correct. Even as if you follow the book also. Credit ratings are classified into 3 broad categories. Investment grade. This is something which is very important one. Non-investment grade and आपका default grade. With future, with further आपका reinforcement. Like we have, let's say, आपका AAA. This is the best one, right? If it is plus means it is supporting the positive side. Minus it is आपका more toward to the triple B. Then आपका like any others आपका like we can have C. D is basically this is a danger zone. D for danger आपका here, right? So this is statement is true. Statement 2 is also correct here. Third, ratings such as this and B fall under the speculative. No, it is आपका investment grade. So this is wrong. Speculative is basically आपका after this. After this, it comes under the speculative. A credit rating is an opinion of the credit quality specific instrument, not an recommendation to buy sell. True है. CRA, credit rating agencies periodically review and may upgrade, downgrade और आपका place rating on watch with a positive or neutral or negative sign. Yes, 1245. 1245 means option D will be right answer for this particular one. Right. Next one. Mutual funds आपका the another topic. So contain like the types of mutual fund classification आपका NAV concept riskometer that get asked many times, right? Load no load was also part of your May 2025 examination from this one. In November 25, how they ask question? Something like this. They created Rohan, a new investor, exploring a mutual fund option based on investment preferences. So these are the areas. He want a fund where he can buy and sell unit anytime, means liquid funds आपका open-ended scheme, daily NAV without worrying about the maturity and others. So first, this is आपका kind of a case of open-ended mutual fund. The another one, when it comes to the second one, his friend name आपका Mira prefer a fund with fixed maturity more than 5 years. So this is a case of आपका close-ended mutual fund. ठीक है, so this is your open-ended mutual fund and open-ended. This is आपका close-ended, right? Their colleague Neha want hybrid fund, आपका close-ended, but allow purchase any redemption only during the specific interval. And this is the case. So this is called interval fund आपका. ठीक है, this is called interval fund. Rohan fathers prefer low cost funds that simply track and nifty. So without this, so they can go for the index fund आपका, right? Or as per the option, it should be passive funds where we do not have to go for each and other things. Mira आपका where professional fund manager, so this is आपका active fund. So what will be your correct answer for this one? आपका open ended and this is आपका close ended and open ended, close ended. These all are correctly mentioned, I guess, right? Everything is correctly aligned now. So means option C should be right answer for this one. So how they generally, basically what they did, they gave the different scenarios and how to deal with those particular insurance product. Now from here, आपका that unit 36 or module C, that was the base. This is something which is around the fundamental principle, that is one of the most important area. Classification of insurance, micro insurance, group insurance, banca insurance and others. Like this topic is very important one again, because we actively selling the mutual आपका insurances in the market, right? So I'll highly recommend this particular one. So regarding the principle of insurance, this get asked every time. One question anyhow you'll get based on the principle of insurance, and this entire subtopic are bit important. So when it comes to subrogation, allow the insurer to acquire legal right, so they cannot claim आपका with third party, right? So basically subrogation is interest or principle of subrogation is like, let's say there's a person A who have taken insurance from XYZ. So principle of in this, let's say A met with some accident and that accident caused by the B. So now subrogation is giving right to XYZ कि we will pay you and we will recover from the B. So it is not like A is getting benefit from XYZ as well as from B. No, right? So that is the case. Subrogation, this is आपका correctly mentioned here. Principle of contribution, insurance itself is a principle of contribution. Total indemnity paid by the insurers, same risk आपका not exceed to the actual losses. The insurance proximate cost, the core reason. Refer to indirect, no, it is a direct आपका. So 1 and 2 means option A should be right answer for this one, correct? So proximate cause is the direct, dominant and efficient cause of losses, right? That is the case in this particular one. Next one, 43 आपका product, pension product आपका. So again the scheme related areas and their benefit and others under this particular one, something like this. So PPF, and we have to find out the correct statement, or it can be a joint question for 2 marks covering almost आपका all the schemes with the statements and all. So PPF has a lock-in period of 15 years, can be extended in block of 5 years. True. Contribution, investment PPF account eligible for tax deduction under 80C, 1,50,000. True. Third, NRI and HUF are eligible. No, they are ineligible for PPF. This is wrong. Loan can be availed against PPF only आपका between 3 to 5 years. PPF interest is compounded annually and return are completely exempted. Yes, 1245. 1245 means option B will be right answer for this particular. Right. Next one we have para banking. So this is all other banking services or the almost things which we have covered in the past, right? So this is something like it is bit time taking. So better ki you practice this particular one with the help of question. You can go for this. 45 is all about read and INVIT. That is again very important one. Two aspects. One is read. But this is something ki how retail investor they are getting access to the financial market, right? So without investing in bulk, they can purchase the unit of read or INVIT and they can have a better investment opportunities and all, right? So now the question, definitely you'll see question around it can be the comparison or आपका two question for 1 marks each. One is around read, another one is around INVIT, kind of innovative product in the financial market. So true regarding the SEBI regulation governing read. The first, investment trust must ensure 60% of assets are invested in completed and your revenue generating. No, it is not 60, it is आपका 80%, what I can recall, 80 or 90%. No, 80%, 90% is आपका distribution of the profit, right? So first statement is wrong here. Second statement, when it comes to second one, sponsor to hold not less than 25% of total आपका investment initial post issue of this for 3 years. This should be correct, right? So 2 only means option B should be right answer for this particular one. This is 80% and more than 10% of this, 50% and 80% of celebration आपका in profit which we generally share with others. So guys, this is all about your IFS, all the unit which we have discussed in last 2 hours or 2 hour 15-20 minutes and the strategy. Now I have given you, I'll share this PDF on Telegram, WhatsApp, or I'll आपका upload on the application. So just go through the things and those who already late, so this is something आपका the area of concern where you have to work on the remaining days. Just like do not lose the hope. अभी भी मतलब possible है. There are many people, those who have done during this particular period also. The only thing is you have to be a bit selective. Now you have to go for the subject wise things and all. And those who are following from last 2 months and 3 months, this is kind of a what we have tried to do this with this session ki we can आपका kind of recall what we have done in past 2 months. Now from Monday onwards in INIFS, I'll be having 2 hour session. So we'll be doing the unit wise revision. Tomorrow at 11 o'clock in the morning. So 11 o'clock in the morning, I'll be doing one session for AFM, similar setup session for AFM, so that we can plan things properly. All right, guys. So I hope you enjoy this session and I hope you got a fair idea around things. What should be your next course of action as we have limited days and all, right? तो थोड़ा सा ध्यान रखें इन चीज़ों का. और again I'll suggest go behind the concept. Concept is kind of a area जहाँ से like I'm not telling you कि सब कुछ आप कवर करें, तो जो important areas हैं उनको आप study करें and go for the important areas and follow the practice आपका 2 marker question. Do not rely on those Macmillan question or any single liner question. You will hardly see those type of questions. They'll be for आपका half marks and 20 marks you'll get आपका with 40 question, right? So and it is like no one can solve 40 out of 40, right? So that is something you have to understand the things. All right, chalo. Now I'll see you tomorrow at same time, guys. 11 o'clock in the morning. No, tomorrow we'll be doing आपका Muthu Kumar sir. Tomorrow afternoon we'll be doing आपका 11 o'clock morning itself. We'll be doing AFM. Then from day after tomorrow we'll be starting with the your INIFS आपका unit 1, 2, 3 in a sequence itself, right? Chalo. So this is it, guys. Thank you for joining this session.